Hello, everyone. You're welcome. Welcome to today's topic. Let's chat. I'm glad to have this, and I'm glad that. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend. Actually, I have my fingers crossed and prayers open that we're going to be able to work with this. Trying to get the parent on right now, so we'll see if he's able to. So we're trying to get the parent. His name is Soji Adetoro, and he had one of his children. He had an experience with bullying. So we did practice. Funny enough, we practiced for like 30 minutes. And we had everything sorted out. So hopefully he'll know what to do again today. I've just sent him an invite, so hopefully he will be able to join us. And if we can get Lauren Seeger-Smith to join us. She is actually the CEO of Kidscape. And hi, Lauren. We've had some horrible technical issues.
It's always the way. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, and that was my phone. Okay. So Lauren Seeger-Smith, she's the CEO of Kidscape. And it's really an honor to have you. I know you're such a wide organization, and you've dealt a lot with this topic, bullying, isn't it? Yeah. So do you want to just share with us what you feel in terms of bullying?
So if I tell you a bit about Kidscape, we're a bullying prevention charity that works with children and families and schools in England and Wales. And we have a website, kidscape.org.uk, where we give lots of advice on bullying. And I've been working with children and families around the subject of bullying for about 12 years, but working with children and young people for about 20 years. So I have lots of experience of different types of bullying in school, on the internet, and in giving children and families support.
And what would you say to a parent who's experienced this? For instance, with Adesoji, he said it was a lot of verbal and attacking. And what happened was that he reported it to the school, and at first they tried to play it down. So he really didn't know where to go to, what to do, because the school would say we're keeping an eye on it. But then the daughter would still come home and then say, oh, he hit me again, or he pushed me again, or he said this again. And they nearly came to a stage where he began to blame his daughter. That, are you sure there's not, the issue's not from you? So what would you say to a parent that's
I think that's really, yeah, it's really hard. The first thing to say is that all bullying should be taken seriously. And it's really good that he was listening to his child, and his child, felt that with him. Bullying is a child protection issue in the United Kingdom, and every school has a legal responsibility to take bullying seriously. And globally, bullying is being more and more understood as a really serious issue for children. And so I think if you're in that situation with a school where they're not believing you, it's really important to keep a diary, to keep a log of what's happening every day. And on our website, we have a free log that parents can use, and also the impact of the situation has been. Because even if the school doesn't believe it's a bullying incident, it's about explaining the impact that that's having on your child, and explaining to the school, staying really calm and going to the school and saying, we need to work together to resolve this situation. How can we work together to make sure that this behaviour stops?
Yeah. And then where in the instance where you've done all that, you've explained to the school, you've kept your diary, and still the school's not acting, then what would you say? Because I've had parents call in for that and say, I've spoken to the school and I've told them the impact it's having on my child, but they're still not listening. What do I do next?
Yeah, it's really hard. So what you should do is get a copy of the school's complaints process, and follow that through. Often that'll be a case of them putting in a formal complaint, perhaps to the head teacher and then to the chair of governors, the governing what's happening. And if you're still not getting support with that, then as we've said, in the UK, it is a child protection issue. So if your child is being to have the right to talk to children's services teams about what's happening and to explain you have real concerns around the impact this is having on your child within the school.
Yeah. And how would you say parents are to carry their children along in such an investigation? It's very emotional. It has a very emotional impact upon any child and the and the child really. How would they carry a child along?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's probably one of the hardest things that you can go through as a parent, because you want to be able to protect your child and to keep them safe. And so firstly, it's really important to acknowledge the impact that it's having on you as a parent. But your job is really to help keep your child calm, to help them see that there will be a way through this situation. The situation will last forever. And that you will work through this together. And what we do at Kidscape, we have free online workshops for children and families called our ZAP workshops, where we teach children a range of different assertiveness techniques for dealing with a bullying situation. And then we run a separate workshop for parents and carers where they can support one another and talk to one another about what they're going through and share advice with one another.
So it's important to teach our children how to be assertive, with or without them going through bullying, isn't it? I mean,
Really
skills that lifelong skills that can help any child, isn't it?
That's right, and we do, and we work with children and young people of all ages, and it can be really simple things like body language, how you walk into a room, how you hold yourself, and we teach children to use their assertive voice as well, so they're to kind of hold themselves and to speak in that strong, firm voice with others, to say, no, I don't like that, stop that, and and like you say, they're really important skills for life, for having very clear boundaries with other people that you won't let other people cross.
Just one thing. Supposing your child is then the bully. No one wants to think of their child as a bully. But if you got that call that says, you know what, your child did so and so, what can a parent do to support a child?
That's a really hard position to be in, even harder. And we always say that bullying is a behavior choice, and so we're all capable of it. And so again, similarly, it's really important to stay calm, to keep the lines of communication open, and to ask your child, what were you thinking? What made you want to behave like that towards that other child? What need wasn't being met? Explain to me what happened and why. And help them to understand the impact of their behaviour, and talk to them about, well, what could you do differently next time? How would you handle that situation differently so that this won't happen again? Again, it's really exploring, because actually the children with the worst outcomes are children who are both bullied and bully other children in research, because sometimes it can be a defense mechanism. Bullying is a power grab, and so every reason that child feels the need to feel power to assert themselves. And sometimes that might be because a child's having a tough time at home, or having a tough time with siblings, or having a tough time somewhere else. So they then feel the need to come into school and hold that power. So it's exploring about ways that they can use their power much more positively, and really understand more about what's going on for them, and supporting them to change with love and with care.
Yeah. So I'm checking if we have any questions. I don't see any right now, but I can't see. If anyone's watching and you have a question for Lauren, now is the time. I think she's kind of explored everything, but do you just want to share again with your website and how you could be reached if there was ever a time someone needed advice such as this?
Yeah, so contact kidscape.org.uk. Lots of advice on the site, and then during not over the Christmas period, but from January onwards, we have a parent advice line as well that's open during the week if parents want to call and talk.
I've had cases again where parents have said, my child is nonverbal, they don't know how to talk, they have additional needs. How can a child with additional needs be supported? Such a case. I know there's various kinds of additional needs, but just generally.
Yes, one thing we've done very recently is work with an organisation that specialises around autism to develop communication mats that you can use with children. And they're helpful for autistic children, but actually helpful for any children who find it hard to verbalise what's happening. Do check out our website and you can access those for free. And they can help a child through a storyboard work through them and explain to you and help them communicate to you what's happening and what they need from you.
Okay, all right then. Thank you so much, Laura. It's really been nice having you. Really, thank you for such the information that really points parents as to what to do, how to get support, and how to get further support if they needed it.
Oh, thank you. Bless you. And do get in touch at any time if we can help.
We will. Thank you. I'm just going to try now and see if we can get Soji, the parent, to come back on. Okay, I've got a question here. We requested a meeting with the parents of the boy at the time of the incident, but the school declined. Is this allowed? It is allowed, and that's mainly because of child protection issues once again. Yes, because they're also trying to protect the child, being he's not an adult. He's at a very young age. Their school can decline unless the parents agree. So if the parents agree for the meeting, then yes. If not, then I'm just going to see if we can get you to come on. Then if not, then it's going to be very difficult. It all depends on the parent, because the child is still a child under the age. Okay. Hi, Soji. I think we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, great. And fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. Where do I start? I mean, let me just follow on from what you mentioned. Yes, we did. We wrote several letters to the school, and the school appeared to be either backtracking in the sense that they weren't taking, not that they didn't take the incident serious, but they thought that they had necessary process and procedures in place to deal with that incident. You just answered the question that about we did request a meeting with parents, so that at least we can come together and try and work out a plan of action, to prevent this incident. But they declined. They claimed exactly what you said. It's data protection, and it's so what we did was we strongly advised that if they didn't take it serious, that we would be forced to go to the local education authority.
One thing that Lauren had advised,
and report it. But despite these, they came back to say, oh well, children sometimes gravitate to other children. It's difficult to try and monitor incidences during playtime, and that maybe perhaps my daughter could have been somehow instigating it. So I asked her, she explained what she was doing. I advised her to keep away from him. Anyway, every time she tried to keep away from him, he would seize an opportunity during playtime to then, assault her. Quite subtle means, like running towards, kicking a ball in their direction, running towards her, and then just barging her with his shoulder, that sort of thing. There was a time that he literally punched her in her stomach and elbowed her. So at that point, that was it for me. We then told the school in no uncertain terms. We wrote them a lengthy letter and said we outlined what we were going to do, and we accused the school that the school were not taking this incident serious. The guys, I think his parents were invited in. He was reported. I understand that his parents, I think, chastised him at one point, took him home, and he came back to school. He was then forced. He was suspended for a day.
Okay.
And also suspended for, he was detained. When they told us that it was being taken care of, we asked them what procedures, what measures have they put in place to monitor and to prevent this incident. They said it falls within the child protection procedure that they've got in place, and that they were not able to divulge what measures, that we should rest assured that everything is under control. That incident of the elbow and the punch was the last incident. They had a series of tests during 2020, I think it was. I think during that year, a series of tests that would count towards the end of term or end of year exam results. Fortunately, the guy was suspended during that period. He wasn't allowed to come in for that week to sit the exams with the rest of his classmates. He came in afterwards. My daughter says that he came in a week later to sit. I think they had arranged a room for him to do the tests. Do the test. But the end result was, at the end of the year, he was either expelled or not allowed to return back. Okay. Because he has a junior brother who is in a lower class, and they had moved. They didn't return this year.
And so that's how it was dealt with.
That's how it was dealt with. We even asked them that, because he came in, he didn't start exactly. It wasn't in the group that Adiva was in.
So he came in later on.
He started during the term. So we then asked the school that, look, you owe a duty of care to your students. So what checks have you made to ensure that the reasons that the parents might have given you for him leaving one school to join another school in midterm, how satisfied are you with the answers that they gave? Because we were discussing that, if somebody joins in midterm, shouldn't the school ask them, why are you leaving school A to join school B in midterm?
Yeah.
So, I mean, shouldn't you ask questions, sort of safeguarding questions, just to see if there were any behavioral traits that he had.
I'm sure as a parent, you would want to see something like that, especially after you've gone through that. But every child is treated as an individual, really, and having to ask a child that on their very first day, I think, would be intimidating for the parents as well as the child. But what is that they would try to catch that by just finding out, does the child have additional needs? Does the child need further support? And then hopefully the parents can open up and say, this is what happened when my child
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
Therefore, can you please support them in this area?
Mm.
But that's just, again, if the parents want to open up in that way,
Mm.
because I mean, like,
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
know no one wants to identify their child as a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
it's a very
absolutely.
sensitive topic,
And
isn't it? Yeah.
it is. I mean, there was a time that she didn't want to go to school. She, every time when we woke her up in the morning to get her ready to go to school, she didn't. She asked. She wasn't
Mm.
herself, but now she's quite bubbly. She's quite vibrant.
Oh,
To
thank
go to
God for
school.
that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
And you said your daughter wants to share her experience, doesn't she, with us?
That's right. Yes. Yeah. But she's quite shy with the camera, so I mean,
Oh, that's
I'll
all
let her.
right. We'll everybody on this chat should please send her lots of hugs and
Yeah.
let her know she's loved. And we're gonna just ask her two
Okay.
questions. Um,
Yep.
One of the questions, well, we're not gonna say her name.
Yeah. Okay. Ready, Adina? Okay. Right.
I see the hugs coming in.
How's it coming in? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'll hold it. Do you want me to hold it for you? Oh, she wants to hold it. All right.
She can do it.
Come on.
I think it was very brave, but I didn't really know. I was surprised when she said she wants to come on camera. I thought, are you sure? So I say big, big thank you to you for being so brave to want to. I said, oh no, Dad, please don't let her come on. And he goes, no, she wants to come on. But that's okay if she doesn't want to.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was too brave of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. We're fine. We've heard the story, and we're very glad and say thank you for sharing it to us.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm glad your dad says now you've overcome it and you're much more bubbly. I mean, we are really thankful and grateful to God for that. It's a sad thing to go through, but well done, darling. We love you and appreciate you, and wishing you the best in the next school term. You can whisper to your dad if there's anything you want to tell us. You don't need to show yourself. Just let her talk. She doesn't need to show herself. Yeah.
Okay, just talk.
Yeah.
Did you have some questions? You said you had some questions for her.
Yeah. I mean, what does she wish? What does she wish? What was she happy that the school did? Yeah. What's one thing you're happy that your school did?
I guess I was happy when they suspended him, because then I wouldn't have to deal with any more trouble.
I can understand. Yeah, your reasons why for that. Yeah. What's one thing you wish the school would have done better?
I guess I wish that they would have stopped all the delays that they were doing with all the procedures, taking their time, dragging their feet and all of that.
Yeah, and that can be very, very distressing, can't it? Yeah. Especially if you're the one going through it. And now that's a good thing for anyone who's a professional that may see this. Just hearing it from a child's point of view is so important. Just trying to make sure. I mean, even if you're in a church setting or a school setting, trying to remember that the emotions of the children who are going through it is so important. And she's already said just two things there. I'm happy that the bullying stopped, and I wish it didn't drag on for such a long time. So I truly understand that. And those kind of delays are tough, and and that's true. Just like Lauren says, it can feel like a lifetime for a child. So I truly understand where you're coming from there, dear. And another happy question: what thing are you happy that your parents did?
I'm glad that they sent multiple letters to my school about the issue.
Mm, And that's a good thing that your parents were there to listen, to actually take on board. So parents, I think it was because you knew what to do, isn't it, Dad?
Yeah,
Did you have to ask? Is it that you already knew what to do, or did you have to do a lot of homework? I know you spoke to me a couple of times.
yeah. No, I knew that because I'm quite familiar with procedure, so I thought that, well, obviously, I mean, when we basically, as consumer users, when we buy something and we're not happy with it, we already know what our rights are, in terms of lodging a complaint. So it becomes natural that, yes, that every organization or every entity has a procedure for lodging complaints. And so, we just wrote a very, very stern and robust letter to the school authorities, asking them to investigate and then report back to us.
And like Lauren said, it's important that you look at their complaints procedure. What are their complaints procedure, and follow that along. Look on their website. Go, if you don't know where to find it, go on the school's website and look for the complaints procedure. Look for what's the procedure that they do for bullying. I think Lauren mentioned quite a few things to do in that case. Yes.
I mean, what
and one more
endeared me.
question, darling. What do you wish your parents would have done better?
I don't think my parents did everything they could, and I guess it was perfect.
Oh, okay, that's really good, and that's really nice having hearing that from a child. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, darling, for sharing your story and for helping us understand from a child's point of view. And thank you for agreeing to come on too.
Well, thank you very much.
And
yeah,
thanks.
So I don't think there are any more questions. So if schools do not respond, get Ofsted involved. Yeah, that's another way. Yeah. So thank you. Well, it was nice having both you and my dear darling friend there, and Lauren on today. I think it's a topic that we can listen to over and over again. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, have a nice evening. Thank you for
and
joining.
you. Thank you very much indeed.